but for some reason, these guys can't get in the server on time. You know, wouldn't you not get there 15 minutes early? Maybe. That's what I would do. But anyway, we're getting underway. It's only 10 minutes late. It's all good. And Chinggis Warriors and Unsettled Retirement to kick things off here in the EPL Season 22 closed qualifier. I'm very intrigued to see what Unsettled Retirement is going to bring to the table here, because I think they've already surprised and impressed by making it to this point. But Chinggis Warriors is going to be another, you know, discussion point, obviously. They're generally a pretty decent team when they're having their day. Control system just to take the game away from you. So, interested to see what Chinggis Warriors is going to be able to put up. But I think Unsettled Retirement might be than they would anticipate. That's a nice double to start things off, though, for Efire. Ariucle in there for a nice headshot onto Madness as well. And Unsettled Retirement will not be able to get the ball rolling here on the T side of Dust2 just yet.
Yeah, we'll see what they can try to find here. If they can retrieve the C4, then maybe they've got themselves an opportunity. But it's going to take a lot of heavy hitting. Nakari and... How am I saying that name, Jordan? Slayer?
I reckon it's just Slayer, yeah.
Slayer? Very good. Well, Slayer looking to do just that, unfortunately. Oh, okay. We'll be given opportunities, but they go fleeting. And Chinggis Warriors just looking like the much better team. Good structure after getting the C4 down on Cat and managing to capitalize and pick up the first round of the game.
Yeah, pretty straightforward pistol round, though, for Chinggis Warriors. Didn't really take a whole lot of effort from them. A few nice headshots out those USPs, and that'll be that. Interestingly, Unsettled Retirement without the bomb plant have opted to go for a force fire here, so he's going to be pistol armor. 9s for the most part. We've got a Mac 10 there for Ari. And it's okay. Just be thinking about a B rush. That MP9 up close and well dark, but yeah. Way out on the B. Ariucle got the best job through the flashes and knocks it down the USP as well. Can't get more than the 3, but the 3 was enough, and that is 2-0 for Chinggis Warriors.
Yeah, getting there eventually. Nice quick one to try to catch up the lost time that we've had up until this point. But we'll see what Unsettled Resent managed to pull off here, as they don't have too much to go with. You know, there's only a couple of pistols, couple of digs, and oh mate, they got this AWP to get past too. On paper, that should be difficult. But I've seen some crazy rounds in the last couple of days, Jordan, so I don't know what to expect.
More crazy ones over the course of the next couple of days as well. I just realized it's Unsettled Resent. I thought it was Unsettled Retirement. I've gone my whole life thinking it's Unsettled Retirement.
Yeah.
Maybe that was because I thought that was a foo-foo. Went to go and retire in this team after having had his little run on Lin Vision. But either way, not exactly the start that UR was looking for. Controls that all in hand. Just getting a little bit of aim prac in here. It's maybe not a bad thing that he's getting this chance against the pistols, because he hasn't actually connected on his AWP shots yet, but starting to get there. Slowly but surely, and E5 with the rifle. Job done nice and easy.
Yeah, nothing there for Twinkle. And Chinggis looking like the better team out of the gates. Nice and clean for 2 rounds back-to-back. Minimal reinvestment. Money's looking great. And Unsettled Resent, let's see what they bring in here. Someone did pick up an AWP for a moment, but opted against it just to get the armor online. That was Slayer. And they got plenty of util. Having a look at the spawns. You should be going for long here if you're the T's. Front spawns sending it that direction. But opts not to go for it. So long control going to be gifted to Chinggis Warriors. They waste a decent amount of util there. You know, weird progression smoke thrown outside of the long doors, and in the meanwhile, it's going to be a faster attempt at least pressure towards mid-B.
Oh, I don't even know what's going to be pressure. They're going to go for it, mate. They are not stopping here at all. And they're going to run down the shot. Surely no chance of the side. I don't imagine that Chinggis Warriors will expect that kind of pace. Efire. Speaking of BKZ, this is the most recent change for Chinggis Warriors. So they went to the major with Coolast. He was on loan from IHC. But there's been some pretty notable changes in the last sort of couple of weeks for Chinggis Warriors. Carnage, which has been their long-standing coach, even going back to the previous Chinggis Warriors roster from 2024, has parted ways with them. And I think he's ended up at the Huns now. I saw that last night or a couple of days ago. Didn't go very well for the Huns here in the EPL qualifier. So the addition of Score and Carnage maybe not quite hitting initially. But that's by the by. And so BKZ's coming, I guess, in place of Coolard. Terrorists win. Coach of Chinggis Warriors, so he's someone that's also been around for quite a while. But very interesting, obviously a lot of moving and shaking happening in the Mongolian scene after every season. There's always some kind of roster instability, swapping here and there. IHC, Chinggis Warriors, the Huns, all sort of jostling for that second position behind the Mongols. And it was held by Chinggis Warriors most recently, but I still think on paper, I look at that Huns roster and think these guys should be number 2. But yet, you know, they have another failure here. Down. And ultimately, they don't get a second chance because it was a single elim. So, bad luck to them. Chinggis Warriors trying to fly the flag for Mongolia. And already starting to show some levels of fallibility here against Unsettled Resent, which is really not a team that we expected anything from, like one of these sort of Chinese teams. But you know, they've been able to do a bit of work. Let's see if Chinggis Warriors can put them away in this round. Back to 4-on-4 now after that little engagement over on long.
Good timing on the smoke block towards upper tunnels. Unsettled Resent making a world of noise back towards lower. And this double AWP showing the positions of both of them. Although we are going to see the readjustment. Curse making his way back towards window. Should help out ariucle. He needs to try to kind of draw attention away from upper tunnels, but flashes him forward instead. ariucle now in a bit of a rough spot. This is looking like it could be another round for Unsettled Resent unless BKZ Cursed comes through with 3 big ones. And that's going to be more than enough. So, Chinggis never backing down. Playing a interesting game there towards the B side. But look, they keep the double AWP alive. And so far, so good.
Yeah, take time out early on in the piece here for UR. BKZ up to this point. Yeah, this year has been playing on the cube. And he, I believe, in that roster was the AWPer. Problem with the cube was that they kind of swap their players around a fair bit. They have Anselmo in there sometimes. He's sometimes coaching. But I think he was actually the primary AWPer over on cube. And that obviously means you can have a very nice double AWP setup if you're Chinggis Warriors here. And it's already worked out pretty well. So 4-on-1 on this CT side. Got a double AWP in hand. And a Fufu is going to crack with the scout, which might not be advised. He only takes 80 damage, which is better than 100. Go again, and well, it's not going to end up very well for him at all. Once again, the double AWPs just kind of making mincemeat of Unsettled Resent.
Yeah, working a little too well, if you ask me. But maps like Dust2 allow themselves to have a lot of impact with these AVPs. Efire as well, just constant re-peeking, knowing that there are some eco frags on the menu. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him just keep on pushing. But yeah, minute on the clock. And Akari hoping that that aggression comes through so he can have an opportunity to get a kill in the round. It'd be nice for Unsettled Resent to at least find a pick here or there. You can see that the economy for Chinggis Warriors is at a point where if they lose, 2 or 3 weapons, they're still going to be at breaking point when Unsettled Resent go for the full buy in the next. But I don't see a world where that'll be where we are at the end of this round.
No, sir. Got this one wrapped up nice and easy. haven't won the lead for Chinggis Warriors. And to be honest with you, Mac, this is exactly the kind of game that I want to be seeing out of Chinggis Warriors, right? I think if you're that team that has gone, or at least the major portion of this team that has gone to the major, has been one of the top teams in Mongolia of late, you really do need to be putting away some of these like Randy Sandy teams in these kinds of qualifiers. Like this should not be a difficult game for Chinggis Warriors if they're to be at that level that they want to be. That's a great shot though by Slayer. So unfortunate for controls. And Chinggis Warriors should definitely be in 2-0. And anything but would be a bit of a disappointment for them. A very big disappointment for the Huns, as they yesterday lost to Unsettled Resent. Going on over there, but Warriors looking to maintain a position towards the, I would say, the mid to top level of Asian Counter-Strike. I'd still kind of have them a step below the top Chinese teams, probably below the likes of a FlyQuest at this stage. They're not too far behind. And as they continue to improve, they can start to unsettle some of those teams. It is back to the 4-on-4. Nice little bit of re-aggression on long there from Chinggis Warriors, but once again, Unsettled Resent are just going to default back to a mid to B, and that's a fantastic shot from Rooks. Just as the smoke was starting to fade and getting reapplied, Avuvu will go down, and now we are down to a 4-on-3, and Unsettled Resent have that disadvantage and don't really seem to know what they want to do here. They don't have any util left, Mac, so they're going to just have to walk out B, I guess.
Seems to be the option. And there's a scope waiting here. Although ariucle missed opportunity, goes back for seconds. Half HP now. And the T's swarming. Managed to get control of the B side, as well as the nicely timed push at mid.
What?
Cursed able to find Akari on the cross, and just like that, things get even more awkward. So no one's round locked in yet. I thought in that 3v2 that they'd be fine. But yeah, Akari getting a little bit frisky with the double doors there on B.
Yeah, just nobody watching middle. And a very, very cheeky peek out. Now into the 2-on-2. Efire slowly walking up a tunnel. He needs to win this duel onto Madness, and then they've got to find a way to dislodge Slayer as well. Duel will go the way of the CT, but time is a factor. BKZ picks his timing wisely through the double doors, though, and Slayer will go down. There's plenty of time for the defuse here, and it'll be another round. Is there plenty of time? Oh, it's very close, but he's got it. Plenty of time might have been a stretch, but it is 6-1.
Yeah, you'll take it, I guess.
You'll take it.
You'll take it. There's another round.
Expensive round. Could have been a bit cleaner, but still enough money there in the back pocket for Chinggis Warriors to maintain that double AWP. I assume both of those were taken through, and then, oh no, there's an AK. So at least one of the AWPs has been purchased here by BKZ. Ah, bit of a traffic jam there in CT spawn. You hate to see it.
It feels like even with these long spawns, Unsettled Resent don't like going for it initially. Two-man setup still here. Efire swinging, getting his pick as well. And yeah, it feels like it's just like flaccid attempts at this long take. I'm not liking it. Maybe Unsettled Resent just don't play too much Dust2. Although, you know, things that we were seeing, like that earlier fast attempts at mid-B, etc., would suggest that they're otherwise. It's just a rough one. I think there's just going to be a big skill disparity between these teams, and it's going to be a rough day, rough watch.
Well, you're going to like it even less when I tell you Unsettled Resent were the team that actually peaked at Dust2. So if their T-side's not impressing you already, and the fact that it is their map pick, that's going to make it even less impressive. BKZ is looking really good, though, with this secondary AWP. I mean, is it even fair to call him a secondary AWPer at this point? Maybe it's just two primary AWPers. Akari, hang on, Galil finding the triple. He's very low on HP, but this is going to end up being an expensive round for Chinggis Warriors that it didn't need to be. They should still be winning it. They're not sure if he's decided to exit A, but he is making enough noise that ariucle will now hear him. And that'll be an easy one for controls in the end. So 7-1 will be maintaining that win streak for Chinggis Warriors, but a bit more expensive than it ought to have been. I will just quickly say, yeah, the veto that we did get Dust2, Anubis, and then Ancient. So I was right in saying that Ancient would be in this pool somewhere. Knew that Chinggis Warriors like it. Unsettled Retirement have been good on it this qualifier. It's not a surprise to see it in this pool, but didn't really bank on this Dust2 pick from Unsettled Retirement. And, well, frankly, it doesn't seem to have worked out very kindly. So maybe Ancient would have been a better option.
Oh, Rue. He's looking at the ground. He's about to start spinning. Watch out. Told ya. Spinning the knife around. That's what I was leaning towards. But yeah, again, spawn gameplay not looking great. Unsettled Resent not gifted with anything really towards B or towards A. But B is the play with a bit of a low bite. And you can kind of change it up as well, right? Chinggis Warriors, they've been caught a few times towards the B site and B ramp players. And in comes the flashes laid across the top. Ariucle still able to have some kind of vision. Fast rotations as well. It's going to be the scramble through from Rue and controls from up top. Oh, it's looking a little bit awkward for the T's. I thought they were going to be able to at least get out on site, but they never managed to make it out of tunnels.
Yeah, 8-1. This is starting to look very problematic for Unsettled Resent. I mean, you're right in saying that a few of these takes from them on the T side have just not looked super exciting at all. You know, it's kind of going back to that one round that we saw them sort of charge out middle and thought, oh, okay, you know, like these guys, they're like, they want to play this faster kind of chaotic style, and yeah, that's all well and good, but it's really only worked in that one round where they did go mid to B and kind of caught Chinggis Warriors on a timing. In every other round, Chinggis Warriors have been well prepared for it, hit their shots, and it's not really been much of a response from Unsettled Resent.
It feels, yeah, it just feels like they're not really doing anything with the map presence that they're getting. They're just like trying to make executes work, but it's at the point where they haven't done anything to bleed out the Chinggis Warriors utility, so they just keep getting themselves in these weird positions. ariucle even opting to go for the smoke towards tunnels instead of just extinguishing the molly and having something safe to play around. And look, that's two back-to-back mollies that have missed back plat, one of which you're smoked off and should have the cover to make it happen. So it's a little bit unfortunate, let's say that way. Unsettled Resent, though, not going to expect Rooks towards the top of mid, who gets more than he's bargained for. Third player as well. Beautifully done. And with the bomb down, and Akari in a 1v5 again. Let's see how many he can get. It's none.
Yeah, this is looking like a very switched-on Chinggis Warriors, which is really nice to see, because a lot of the time my biggest issue with the Mongolian teams, outside obviously of the Mongols, is their inconsistency, right? Like they, on their day, can look like this. They can look really, really good. Super solid, super switched on, you know, making good decisions, not overplaying their hand all that much, doing the right things for the most part, and hitting their shots nicely. And sort of, you put two and two together there, and you win a lot of rounds. But then, sometimes you just get these really goofy games from teams like Chinggis Warriors, from the Huns, and they give you that brand of Counter-Strike that we're kind of almost seeing from like Unsettled Resent here on the T side of Dust2, and you're like, why are they throwing you know, such crazy plays in the mix here when we've seen how solid they can be? So, you know, a lot of the time it does just depend on which Chinggis Warriors turns up on the day, but when this version turns up, they can be a pretty solid team.
Well, when things like that happen as well, it does definitely make it easier. So,
yes.
Madness. A bit more luck with the first bullet accuracy there. Unsettled Resent. Just going to pack their bags, go for the crisp smokes, but not the cross smoke. AK retrieved. And the smoke comes through late, but ariucle drops the ball. Missed opportunity, and a nice timing for Madness to pick that one open. Controls all the way towards the back of Platt. Going to be able to pick them off one by one. But Madness, an opportunity on 12 HP to maybe put a second round on the board. Isolated fights going well, and he knows. He knows the position of Efire, but unfortunately couldn't hit the shot he needed to. And that's going to be 10 on the CT side already, with an 11th just around the corner.
Yeah, that one gets a bit messy for sure, but
yeah,
it's all good. It's okay to lose 4 guns there when you're going into the last round of the half here. Chinggis Warriors, plenty of cash, get everything that they want. Defuse kids across the board. And Controls, once again, going to be given the opportunity to see if he can get a kill onto Akari. It's not going to happen this time around. No, never mind. I've spoken too soon. So Akari just sticking around a little bit too long. Playing a very dangerous game there and does get punished for it. Controls now down below half. Just going to start to try and dump a bit of util into middle to deny that position from Unsettled Resent, but it is actually pretty important that Chinggis Warriors do hold on to some semblance of mid-control here, because it is only ariucle over toward B. It's a heavy A stack here from Chinggis Warriors. Is Rook's going to see this? Oh no, I think Afufu's just going to wait for the smoke to fade, and he's probably going to catch Rooks. Flash through. No, never mind. Timing's going to go poorly. Afufu is going to be traded down. So BKZ gives up his life for that information. And Controls low will be dealt with. Here we go. Unsettled Resent starting to show a little bit of twinkle in their eye, in a sense, as he does actually get himself that opening kill. ariucle looking for the AK. He's going to grab it. Efire needs to win this duel on short, and he will. Twinkle gets an awkward timing. He's got Slayer as well. Just when you think Unsettled Resent might be able to come back into this half, grab themselves a second round. ariucle, a chance to shut it down, won't get it done. Madness, some nice headshots at the back end of that half. Do at least get a second round here for Unsettled Resent, but it is very much in control of Chinggis Warriors here. 10-2. Welcome back on in the second half here, 10-2. It's looking pretty grim for Unsettled Resent on their map pick of Dust2. Chinggis Warriors out here to play. They recognize what a good opportunity this closed qualifier actually is for them, noting that some of the big name teams from Asia Pacific are not competing in this qualifier. You don't have to deal with the FlyQuest guys. You don't have to deal with Tyloo, Envision, Rare Atom. Obviously not Mongols either. So someone like Chinggis Warriors will be looking at this and thinking, actually, we could win this qualifier and we could go to ESL Pro League Season 22 and making a pretty good run so far. See how things go in this second half pistol. If Chinggis Warriors win it, it might be map over and controls. Very nearly seals the deal with a double kill there, but just going to keep backing off and finally gets a Fufu who was just trying to chase him down. Oh, great shot from BKZ. Mac, I think Dust2 might be over.
It feels like we're coming towards the later parts of this one for sure. And yeah, that was it was a quick one. Although Unsettled Resent, look, what can they do here? I feel like you have to force. You're not playing for any more than that.
Yeah. But
Chinggis Warriors just, like I said, it was a skill gap. I didn't expect it to be this big of a skill gap. But this is what happens if you're not ready for playing Pro League, I guess. Look, Chinggis Warriors, they've had a bit more international experience, and I'm happy that they're the ones getting these opportunities if we're watching things like this unfold. Cursed, he was ready. He pulled that out in time, and plenty of numbers over towards blue in a safe position to play from. So NT, I like the idea at Unsettled Resent, but I think the flash and the pump just came a little too late there.
Well, I think one of the big problems was that the flash was seen as well by BKZ. He saw the flash get thrown over the top of that smoke. He was able to turn and probably even might have commed it to his boys
To the boys,
blue. Yep. And they might have been able to turn away from it as well. So I'm not sure how effective the flash ended up being. Obviously, BKZ, he was pretty blinded by it, but I think everyone else was kind of okay. And so pretty easy cleanup there for Chinggis Warriors. So Unsettled Resent, down 12-2 on your map pick. Not going to be a good feeling. A slightly better feeling, though, knowing that obviously this is a BO3, so the series not over. And even then, it's double elim from here on out in the closed qual. It's going to go through. Efire thinking about a little bit of a look on long there. The flash maybe half a second too late, though, as that nade was already starting to dissipate. And the smoke coming back, so that little timing coordination didn't quite work out for Chinggis Warriors, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good in the hood. Let's see if they can figure this one out. So far, no good. And, oh, even more damage getting done. Akari. And he saved the day. AK upgrade over towards Cat. But with cross smoke, it's going to be hard for him to play around. Resmoke towards elbow. Gives him a safer position. But he really needs his teammate to come up short soon. A Fufu. Good crosshair placement to deal with that one. And maybe Unsettled could be on for a round. Man disadvantage for Chinggis Warriors. Long control, ramp control. And able to play off one another. Ooh, Cursed allowed an isolated fight on Akari. But they know a Fufu was close. Lovely shots out of him. Big couple of headshots. And now it's all down to Madness, who's here a little late to the party. And it's not fashionably either. 13-2. Chinggis Warriors get it done with a man disadvantage in the post plant. NT for Unsettled Resent. But mates, they're going to have to turn things around into map 2 if they want any opportunity at a W here today, Jordan.
Yeah, you really do have to. G'day, welcome back on in. It is ESL Pro League Season 22 Asia closed qualifiers, and right now we are watching Chinggis Warriors and Unsettled Resentment. Right now, watching those two teams may be a bit of a lie. I feel like we're kind of just watching Chinggis Warriors. They won 13-2 on map 1. It was Unsettled Resentment's map pick. Now we're on to Anubis, the choice of Chinggis Warriors, and it does feel like we are leaning in the direction of a 2-0 today, Mac.
Yeah, definitely feeling like that. I'll reserve my thoughts for the rest of this map, but yeah, we need to see a little bit more. Otherwise, it could be a big break between this and the next game today. Bit of a dink onto controls, who leaves the vicinity. Plays his life. Smart approach. And off the back of that, it looks like we're going to see the T's think about going for the drop. Efire ready. Here's all those footsteps coming his direction. And the 3-man setup is looking pretty good. Ariucle preemptively dropping that flash. And all CTs looking to fight this one together. Efire going to be able to find the double there. And Curse comes in with a bit more damage. Fast flank as well from Rooks. But it's only him to get it done with the Julies. Slayer, no idea that he was getting flanked through the smoke there. And it's a beautiful first round for Chinggis Warriors. Reading Unsettled Resent like a book and kind of punishing him.
Yeah. Great util usage from Chinggis Warriors, wasn't it? The smoke down at E-Box just makes pushing out a little more difficult for Unsettled Resentment. Look, maybe that flash happened a little early. I don't think it actually ended up catching anyone. There was a bit of a half cancel called there by Unsettled Resentment. As they might have heard that flash bounce on the floor, they took a little bit of a break, but at the end of the day, they had to push through that smoke anyway, and that was still big enough of a problem. Great shots connected as well by Chinggis Warriors, has to be said. And here we are into round number 2 with a pretty nice buy across the board for Chinggis Warriors, and Unsettled Resentment once again going for another force buy after losing the T-Pistol. They did the same on Dust2 and didn't really get a whole lot working for them there. ariucle waiting for this push. He's going to be flashed out, but they haven't checked him. They haven't checked him. And this MP9 is still going to get one, even though a late flash came through and did blind him. He gets away with a bit of murder there. Efire in on that rotate for the retake. Bomb hasn't actually been planted yet, so to call it a retake is a bit ambitious, but they are essentially retaking that bomb site, and it's Madness alone with the C4 on his way over towards B.
Let's see if he can get enough space to get it planted. That seems to be the first step, which is successful. And it's looking like Cursed is slowly but surely making his way in. I say slowly, but he just hits him with the wide swing secondary in hand. Had an A1, but opted to do it with the Tech 9 instead. So had that extra movement speed, knows how he wants to play here in this online CS. And mate, it's worked. Beautifully done to keep it alive. Yes, good damage coming out of the T's there, but with the plants, yeah, you buy again. You've done enough. Surely you buy again. You win this next round. You're good for the long run.
Ooh. They're going to half buy.
Nah, you got to buy. At this point, like, you're already in the dark. You're already sort of in the negative.
Sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, you got to give it a crack.
Well, Controls is definitely going to give it a crack down Canal, and he gets a Kari for his trouble. ariucle might not have been expecting Madness on that line, but a nice quick flick with the MP9 gets the job done, and Unsettled Retirement don't really look like they're going to be putting too much together in this round. So the force buy in the previous not working out. The little bit of an investment that they've got here also not proving to be too threatening. This will be enough to get Chinggis Warriors to recover their money, assuming they can keep most of these guns alive.
Ooh, rough little situation there. Need to hit those. And the 2 remaining members are going to try to play this one together. Twinkle stays on his toes for that one. They don't opt for the upgrade in weaponry. They're just holding their ground, and it looks good for the most part. A Fufu struggling to get a deagle shot off, but Twinkle, 2 nice ones. Make it a 3rd. But it's all Twinkle to get that done. And there's the extra damage. Look, if you had better weapons, you played together a little bit better, you win that round. And the economy swings completely in your favor. I guess, though, with the damage done, there is still a chance to crack that economy. You can see after the rebuy from everyone, you got Efire with 1k, ariucle with 1100, like, Cursed with 1500. That's the best. Best case scenario of any of these moving into the next round, if Chinggis Warriors theoretically lose this one. But Unsettled Resent, now's the time.
BKZ, once again, he's got that AWP in hand. And the fact that he's got the AWP here and Controls doesn't would maybe indicate that BKZ actually is the primary AWP now for Chinggis Warriors. Controls taking secondary AWP. Smoke into mid Chinggis Warriors going to just start dumping a bit of their util here to try and slow down Unsettled Resent, but I know one thing about this team, it's that they don't really care. They're going to go through it. They're going to flash their way through, and you've got to be prepared for that, and they weren't. So this will probably be that first round on the T side for Unsettled Resentment. And Chinggis Warriors will be learning a lesson pretty early here on Anubis.
Looks like that they are happy just to go for the exits. Unsettled Resent not showing them too much, not giving them any opportunity to get back into that on the retake. It's just a stalemate at the end of the day. But that is going to be Unsettled Resent getting their first round on the board. 3 alive or picked up. You couldn't really ask for too much more. And as mentioned, that economy now going to swing back in their favor. So good damage done on the previous 2. Means that now is the chance for the T's to really try to take off into the game before Chinggis Warriors work up that round loss bonus too far.
Yeah, Rooks with just a deagle here. So we'll see how this one goes. BKZ might want to try to get involved in the round a little bit earlier on. With a keener eye on where he's off to. Looks like back over toward the B bomb site. And, oh, actually going to peek out B main. That's not going to work out. Twinkie. Ready for that one. It's an interesting name.
Yeah, you got excited about that one.
Yeah.
Is it Twinkie? I thought it was Twinkle.
Well, it's...
Could be either.
How could it be both? It could be Twinkle. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to have one of those be an L and one of them be an I, that's just inconsistent at that point. So I feel like it's got to be Twinkie.
Actually, you're right. It probably is Twinkie.
Twinkle. You know?
I liked what I was doing with Twinkle though, you know.
I did say Twinkle in the first map, but I'm gonna walk that back and I'm gonna say he's Twinkie.
Yeah, I think you're on the money with that. We can find out later, but for the moment, there's going to be less puns and wordplay we can do with Twinkie as opposed with Twinkle. That being said, Chinggis Warrior is going to be able to find the 2 for 1 and try to turn the round back slightly in their favour. Fast flank starting to come through from Rooks over towards Canal side. We got the numbers doing funky things, so it's just throwing my brain off a little bit. But yeah, Unsettled Resent, full aim control. And they're going to be able to plant aggressively, taking storage, pushing forward. And I don't know if we're going to see Chinggis Warriors go for this one. Efire has that AWP online, and he's happy just to carry it across into the next. And Unsettled Resent, I think they'll be happy to go for the handshake. 3 alive, keep that economy slightly stable.
Yep.
You're laughing.
Yeah, look, I mean, Chinggis Warriors on the CT side here, they know that they don't need to put together a monstrous CT half. Obviously, it would have been nice to get the first gun round, kind of keep the ball rolling off the back of the pistol, but it's early days. You've already got 3. You're in a pretty good spot. They're not going to overplay their hand too much yet. And they'll soon start to work back to trying to make some inroads, though this next round should just be a full save across the board. Obviously, got those 2 weapons taken through. But if everybody holds onto their money, they can get a decent buy next round. They are going to half buy into this one, though. They want that orb specifically in the hands of BKZ. And that means that he obviously has to, or ideally, should, put 650 bucks in there to grab himself some armor. Efire also following suit to get himself some armor and some nades. There's a CZ here for ariucle. So a little bit of an investment from Chinggis Warriors. It is going to hurt their buy a little more so in the next round, but does give them a bit of a better chance of picking this one up. And Unsettled Resent, going towards B, opting not to, but in the meanwhile, Controls getting active in middle. His timing here could be big. Nades in hand. He's been spotted, and he's just going to decide to dip out of there as quickly as he can. It's not a bad shout at all. Would have loved to have hit that headshot. His timing was good. Now it's Efire's turn to have a little bit of a look in and see if he can catch up with Twinkie again.
Certainly can. Twinkie gets the better of him. And that'll be the opening for the round. I I don't really like how I'm seeing Unsettled Resent play a lot of these scenarios, right? Like, you kind of always want to be moving in Counter-Strike 2, not just holding lines like that, because as you can see, if those pistol shots hit that little bit better, then all of a sudden the round gets turned on its head and Chinggis Warriors can, you know, run away with an eco. That being said, AWP has now been located, but that B site is well open for the taking. Bomb down, and it's a rough retake. Chinggis Warriors probably just going to keep the weapons alive to the next again, play the long game, and get as many of these CT rounds as possible before moving into the easier half.
Yeah, as long as they could keep a rifle and an AWP through from that round, it's probably job done. So this will be 3-3 for Unsettled Resentment. They are starting to get the ball rolling a little bit on the T side, but Chinggis Warriors haven't had the guns in hand for the last couple. That's a nice kill from Rooks. But not going to be seeing too much more out of this one. Ariucle's picked up an AK as well, by the way. So you actually have an upgrade from this round for Chinggis Warriors, all things considered. It's going to stabilize the money a little bit. Only 2 players now having to get a buy through. And it's looking pretty good, pretty healthy there for Chinggis Warriors in terms of the buy this round. You've got to find a way to stop losing these opening picks. Obviously, they've been trying to play a little bit aggressive out on the B side of the map. Twinky's been doing a good job of dealing with that. Don't imagine that we'll be continuing to see any real aggression from Chinggis Warriors over there. I like that BKZ's changing up his position as well. So a couple of different things coming into this round for Chinggis Warriors. See if they work out.
Molly to window, controls, answers with an incend. And doesn't want to give up that mid control without a fight. Remolly to window as well for the T's. I don't know which way this one will end up going. But that util is certainly thinning out for both sides. Rooks getting that smoke down on the nice timing, but the T's go straight through. Rooks at the ready. Crouched on the offline. Flash a bit too deep, doesn't connect. And he's even going to make his way out to the pillar as well. Oh, almost the MVP for the round, but Twinkie stands tall. Fills him up with cream, so to speak. And
okay.
Yeah, 3v3. Controls. Makes his way back towards Conside. Safe plant. Coming through from Slayer. So extra money for the next round, and they just need to make it back to main before that smoke fades towards CT. Molly towards jail is extinguished, hits the wrong position. And they really want to fight here. You need to try and find one more pick just to make it that little bit easier. But I don't know if we're going to see that happen. Oh, Slayer down. Twinkie on for the ace. That's how he has to make it happen. And that smoke should fade shortly towards main. He thinks it's a tap, but it's the full stick. The full shebang. And it's rough out here.
Yeah, good round from Chinggis Warriors. Those B defenders looking a little bit more set and prepared for the push through the smoke this time around. You can see them turning from the flashes. So just kind of reading into the, I guess, the mentality of Unsettled Resentment a little bit. And reacting accordingly. It was a decent enough hold, well done from Rooks in particular, locking down that E-box position. 4-3. It's going to cause a tack timeout here from Unsettled Resentment. They know how important this round is going to end up being for them. They've only got 1900 loss bonus. So a loss here, that'll be 5 for Chinggis Warriors. It should be a 6 then, because Unsettled Resentment won't have any money. They'll have to take an eco. So yeah, then starting to really lose control of this half, and certainly this map as well, noting that it is Anubis and it is T-sided. What has Unsettled Resentment cooked up in the lab after that tack timeout? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think we're all about to find out together. Looks like Chinggis, though. Again, they're not actually throwing that T-stairs smoke. They're just going aggro into water, looking to punish the T's. And ariucle, a very odd position. Able to certainly deal with anyone coming from rugs, but if you do get pushed from T-stairs, mate, you are in trouble. However, he does have ariucle staring at that from Con. He did, I should say. And right about now is where things get really awkward. Actually, he might actually be hidden from T-stairs for a moment.
He is. Oh, he's no. Oh! He hasn't seen him. Twinkie hasn't seen him. Twinkie's got cream in his eyes. It's all problems. But it's a 1-for-1, so it's not too bad. Oh my goodness, he's swinging to mid. What's going on in this round? Chinggis Warriors have taken a leaf out of Unsettled Resentment's book. And Controls has dropped the bomb. This is going to be a big duel for him. Can't win it. Madness. Gets that job done. Almost surprised that Controls goes again and tries to fight that instead of maybe backing off. But A-site was being taken from elsewhere, so I guess he felt that pressure at his back. Great shot from a Fufu onto BKZ, and Rooks is going to have to save. This could have so easily been a round win for Chinggis Warriors. Look how low Akari and a Fufu are. But not to be. So 4-4. Scoreline will be tied up once again. And we go another one. Another potential chance to reset Chinggis Warriors.
Okay, so keeping it more competitive than what we saw coming out of Unsettled Resent on Dust2. Looking like they are feeling more familiar, maybe more warmed up. But yeah, getting a couple of nice rounds here on the T side. The thing is, you have to expect Chinggis Warriors to have a solid second half as well. So you really want to keep it as clean as possible, moving towards the half. You know, Unsettled Resent probably looking to want to hit 8 rounds here for the terrorist side, or things may still be incredibly difficult. You know, Chinggis Warriors, you can never count them out. Skilled individuals, lots of experience now all around the world. And this round, Chinggis Warriors slowing it down, not going for that aggressive water control that we've seen them play a few times. Smoke for smoke at mid. No control for anyone. And a Fufu. Ooh, he's gonna go for an illegal maneuver here.
Luckily, he's gonna escape with his life. Controls. He's keen on it. Oh, is he going through? He's going through. Oh, illegal maneuver for illegal maneuver. And a Fufu gets the last laugh. BKZ must hit this shot. Won't. That's a problem. Ariucle in there to help him out, but BKZ's the only one hitting his shots right now. He's got 2. He's actually done well given the circumstances, but not well enough. It is still 2-on-3. It is still a retake on the A-bomb site. Rooks is going to go through the smoke. They're just throwing caution to the wind, Mac. Oh my god! Somebody hit something, please, Akari. He's got it. It's all good. He's got the 2 headshots that we were looking for. And Unsettled Resentment get themselves their 5th, but Mac, I have to say, this is the Chinggis Warriors that I was talking about in the last map when I was saying, you know, sometimes things just get a bit goofy. They don't look as switched on. They don't look as locked in. You got Controls pushing the mid smoke. He almost finds a timing onto a Fufu. That doesn't work out. And then you got this guy trying to like accelerate into the A-bomb site to try and deny the site the site take, like just pushing through smokes, playing these aggressive lines, someone jumping out of heaven, this kind of stuff. Like, it's all just a little bit messy at the moment for Chinggis Warriors. I think they do need that tack time out there to kind of like reset a little bit, like try to figure it out, say, hey guys, like let's not, you know, lose our heads here. We're still in a pretty good spot. It's 4-5. Yeah, we're down, but we are on the CT side. Obviously we need to recover our money here, but we don't need to be going for these like outlandish crazy plays. Like, we're the better team.
Yeah, I think you're bang on the money with that one. We'll see if that's what they've actually said, though. And if they've listened. Twinkie, going to be laying down the long law over towards B main. Efire gets the info and should pass that across to more individuals. And I kind of like this from Unsettled Resent. They're on an anti-eco. They're moderately grouped up. They've given a lot of map control towards mid, towards A. But they're in positions where they can trade. And this is the kind of Counter-Strike I like to see. You know, it's not too overplayed. You just stay near each other. Hope you can get the trades off if you even need to. Chinggis Warriors are hoping that... Well, we're hoping that they'd walk into Cursed, but they're not. Cursed has ran at them, as has ariucle. And the fight does not go their way. So, looking a little bit better now. Unsettled Resent starting to convince me that they're here for a reason.
Yeah, which is nice to see. Didn't really want a super one-sided game here. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought Chinggis Warriors would win it, and I do think they still will. But it's nice to at least see Unsettled Resentment kind of showing a little bit more maybe of what we got to see yesterday when they played against the Huns. I think that already in itself is a pretty respectable result, pretty good win for Unsettled Resentment. Guns back in hand though for Chinggis Warriors, and Slayer, oh, he is going to be going quickly into A main. So Orb Duel here against BKZ, not going to work out. Don't know if I'm such a fan of that one from Slayer. You need to be seeing a little bit, maybe more util there to assist him, a pop flash, something like that to get him on the line. Because BKZ's been hitting his shots, so if he's sitting there, which he was, he's probably going to hit that one if you slow peek around the corner.
I like this from Unsettled Resent. Water control, everyone grouped up, sneaky, outside of Con. And trying to cheat the timing there, beating the flash, getting info on the player on the back of sight, but overlooking Rooks, who can only get that single. And there is no utility to cross, but they didn't need to. Bomb was coming through Con side, not main side, and it's an open plant for everywhere as well. So Unsettled Resent in a very good post-plant position. And there's only one flash here for Chinggis to play with, so it's going to be a really brawly post-plant, and there's no kit either.
Yeah, no kit. Don't know if maybe there's one on the side here. Was Rooks holding on to one at Pillar? Don't see it on the ground there. So this could be real problems for Chinggis Warriors. They're going to have to move quickly, trying to clear out E-Box. Controls, I think he's just going to have to send it here. Can't get a Fufu. Headshot did come through, but that's not going to be enough. Ariucle needs two. Won't get him. Certainly not in time. And it is BKZ that is off to the races to try to hold on to the orb. Chinggis Warriors, again, may have been better off just holding on to those rifles. It would have definitely helped the buyout a little bit in this round, but they are still going to be able to put something together.
Yeah.
Couple of MP9s. What's Rook's going to get? Maybe an MP9 as well, or a FAMAS. It's just an MP9. So, you know, you could have had at least an extra rifle here or two. But see if the MP9s can get the job done. 5 on CT would be okay. 4 though, starting to feel a little bit lackluster.
Let's see what Chinggis have for us here. Cursed. Eyes on mid. May find action towards a Fufu eventually. As the rest of Unsettled Resent are grouping up towards A, but you can see what Chinggis Warriors have done. They've flashed B main, they've got the info, they've gone for the early rotate, and the stack is here already. Beating Unsettled Resent to the punch. You want to go through this smoke. Ariucle with the body block, with the two-man spray down, and this should be a 5th by every sense of the word.
Yeah, big problem as well was Efire was able to pick up the kill on the other side of the map, so there was no chance for Unsettled Resentment to even, you know, call a cancel and go back over to B. If they would have got that kill onto Efire as he pushed out of B main, then that would have actually been ideal for Unsettled Resentment, but not the case this time around, and it's onto Akari to try and pick up a clutch. Has been given a nice 1v1 by Controls, and will be given another one by Efire, but not expecting him halfway up the bridge there, so Chinggis Warriors do get themselves their 5th, which puts together a pretty decent first half, and we'll see if they can close out this series when we do come back after the break for the second half.
Everybody up in here just wanna celebrate. Sip a little drink, get the dance on. That's all, listen, everything good over here. We don't want no problems, we just want cheers. Toast to the good life, wine, liquor, beer. Haters getting blocked if they trying to interfere. Swag on 100 and my drip too fresh. Certified stunner, need a big blue check. I don't got no time for no BS, I no negative ideas in my vibe, cause I'm just too blessed. Run it back. When they see me show up, I be feeling glowed up. When they see me show up, I be feeling so. When they see me show up, I be feeling glowed up. When they see me show up, I be feeling so.
desperate, crazy, or is it that they never see things my way? Around the world keeps turning, waking up day after day, hoping to change my story, or maybe see things in a different way. Maybe if I took a chance and got out of my way, a different point of view would maybe change the day. Gonna find somebody who's gonna treat me right. I know they're out there. Yes, they're out there. I won't give up the fight. No. Gonna find somebody who's gonna treat me right. I know they're out there. Yes, I do. I won't give up the fight.
Welcome back to the second half here between Unsettled Resentment and Chinggis Warriors. Certainly a much more competitive second map in comparison to the first. Interesting. Gonna get a tactical timeout to start this half. So maybe someone from Unsettled Resentment not quite back. Or they might want to have a bit more of a chat about what they're going to do in this pistol round. Not too sure. Fairly important pistol round though for Chinggis Warriors, just to ensure that they can kind of keep a pace with Unsettled Resentment. They are moving on to that T side, so it's going to be a favourable half for them in that respect, but they still have a little bit of work to do here, and it does look like we're going to get a tech pause. So not too sure exactly what that issue is, but a bit unfortunate to start the second half this way.
Yeah, look, we could have definitely asked for a different way to start here, but look, we'll just play it as it lies, Jordan. Not the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
Well, that's the understatement of the century, Mac. Actually, you know, if I have to wait 20 extra seconds at the start of a map or start of a half, I think I can deal with that. Anyway, off we go. And it is going to be Efire once again, who's got that P250 in hand. So Chinggis Warriors going to be relying on him for some of that ranged firepower. And as you can see, he's been set up for that long-range duel initially into E-box, while the Glocky boys make their way in toward A main. A lot resting on the shoulders of Efire here. He's got a bit of util, he's got the P250, he's got the bomb, and Control's trying to find a timing out B has been dropped, so that is going to make the job a bit more difficult. Quick flash into E-box though, and Rooks looking to try to make some inroads. Twinkie, easy kill with the shadow advantage, and the dualies putting in a shift at the moment. Ariucle going to fall, or rather Efire going to fall. I'm sure Ariucle will be falling in a moment here, and that is a solid pistol for Unsettled Resentment.
Yeah, not bad. Good size. Love to see it. See if we get a similar thing moving forward into the second round of the half. But yeah, Chinggis Warriors, we'll see what they do. No bomb plant means no real need to go for the force. And with Unsettled Resentment, that little bit out in the lead now, you don't want to let it grow too fast. So go for the guns in the next instead. Keep it safe and see what kind of damage you can do with, what, one Deagle and a Dream.
No Deagles. At least not at the moment.
Recyclable.
Down.
Retrievable.
We love recycling.
Could have been, but now Madness has gone and taken water control. Mid pressure's coming through. Slayer and Twinkie get the job done. And it is looking very unlikely that Rooks can do a damn thing. Shot in the back. And I didn't even realize Kirst was alive. 3 points of health. Barely. Straggling behind. Lurk smoke gives him some opportunity to walk out onto site. Has he not been seen? He has been seen. He's not been seen.
He wasn't, yeah.
Who was that? What was Akari looking at? Was he looking at the wall?
I think he was staring at the smoke. He was looking at the smoke. Surely he was just staring at the smoke and didn't see him.
4x3 moment, I guess.
Yeah, didn't see him out the side of it. 9-5. A bit of a comeback required now for Chinggis Warriors. First gun round of the second half to come.
All right, no aggression this time for Unsettled Resentment.
No aggression for anybody.
Yeah, just a little standoff.
Good old-fashioned default round on both sides. Madness is starting to work up close behind that main smoke. And you're seeing a bit of util get dumped over towards B here as well. So Efire is trying to work E-box control essentially solo. And he has been able to take that. Meanwhile, ariucle's got the kill onto Madness. So it is starting to fall into place here for Chinggis Warriors. Looks is thinking about looking in toward middle, but still haven't really seen that call made from Chinggis Warriors as to exactly where they're going to end. Still got this default maintained. There's no presence leaning one side or the other. Fufu will get a pretty critical kill, though, in mid, and that might start to unravel things a little bit. I guess this is a fake over on B, with the bomb's still over towards A, but it has certainly convinced a Fufu.
I'm glad it's convinced someone. Plant towards the other side of the map, and it's just save time. AK able to be carried across to the next, and that's what a Fufu should be looking to do. Chinggis Warriors, though, they seem to be aware, and you can see that that hunt is quickly happening. Cursed. His way towards mid, gets the info, gets domed, but knows that he has tagged him up. And Chinggis Warriors, they are hungry for this AK, hungry for the kill. And a Fufu going to be locked in towards B main at an awkward angle to fight, but this is kind of what you want when you're low HP and you know that there's one more player around the corner, ariucle. If you fall, there is no money. There is nothing for you in the next. And Unsettled Resentment have enough to buy anyway, so he opts not to go too aggro off the back of that, but my lord, that got a little dicey, didn't it?
I mean, just, yeah, Chinggis Warriors, they did overplay that one a little bit, didn't they? Anyway, bomb plant, win on the T side. It's all good. Reinvest into the round. They've got to get themselves another round win here. Otherwise, Unsettled Resentment just run away with things now. Because that money is indeed quite poor for Chinggis Warriors. This is a big swing round to decide whether or not, you know, the status quo is maintained and we keep going. Or if map 2 kind of runs away in the favor of Unsettled Resentment and we start to think about map 3.
Let's see what we're going to get out of all of said options. Chinggis Warriors going to find themselves with that mid control, relatively uncontested. Rook's in a great position to activate on the flank through cams if he can get a nice timing. But the main pump starts to come through. Control's taking the first member out, and only Madness here. He might just suffer a rough timing onto that push from Rooks. He's come through the cameras eventually. Only storage control, which is mollied off. And at this point, Unsettled Resentment kind of in a rough position. And with the rotated utility towards Heaven, that's buying them a lot of time. And you can see that the CTs realize, this AK is pretty important. We're not really activating on the flank or even going back for that mid control. Let's just save, guys, shall we?
Yeah. That's a good save call from Unsettled Resentment. I honestly wish we would have seen Chinggis Warriors make a couple more save calls on their CT side. I think it really could have helped them out. But they were a little more keen to go for those retakes. In this case, Unsettled Resentment giving the respect over to Chinggis Warriors. That round is going to go the way of the T side. But it doesn't really shift the needle too much in terms of the economic setup. It in theory, could have been the round that broke Unsettled Resentment. Would have meant that Chinggis Warriors had a bit of a freebie here. Would have made it a lot easier to get to a 9-9 equalizer. But still actually some work needing to be done here by Chinggis Warriors. And in all this meanwhile, the loss bonus building up for Unsettled Resentment as well. Which will help them down the track. Chinggis Warriors putting together a little bit on the T side now. Also going to start to build some confidence off the back of that. Nade into the smoke in mid from both sides. Rooks is in the end going to go through it. He does eat a bit of grenade damage for his trouble, but what's he up to here? On his own. He's pushed into mid all on his own, and that flash has caught him, and he's dead. So Chinggis Warriors, again, regressing back to that messy style. It's worked out this time for Controls, catching up with Akari. That'll be the B side taken, but they're not slowing down at all. BKZ looking at a CT, looking at a temple. Bomb plant's gone down. 4v4 now for the retake if Unsettled Resentment want it.
Feels like Chinggis Warriors just keep on winning this with utility. Yes, there's that pump, but the time is ticking away. An Unsettled Resentment. They do have those kits, but they don't have a lot of players remaining in a Fufu. Surely you just want to keep your mitts on the AK, but yeah, that just looked a bit disjointed. They're kind of giving up too much map control. Having Chinggis Warriors with so much utility in those post plants is causing them to lose round after round now. I feel like they just got to do something a bit earlier in the round.
Well, they're not going to really be able to do that this time. Not a whole lot of money here for Unsettled Resentment. Is it going to be a double eco? It is going to be a double eco in a sense, right? So they're going to put a little bit of money into this one. MP9, some armor there. Upgraded pistols for a couple of players. It's a bit of an investment from Unsettled Resentment, but this... oh, what am I talking about? Should be just the single eco here, or the single half-fire, whatever this is. But, you know, this is going to be enough to get us back to 9-9. Unless someone does something a little bit special with the Deagle, with the MP9. Could it be madness? He was decent towards the back end of Dust2. Thought he found a timing there, but didn't. Meanwhile, again, E-box control being worked by Efire. So Chinggis Warriors... It's not Efire, it is Looks, but it doesn't really matter. Chinggis Warriors very formulaic in their approach to this T side at the moment. Taking that map control one step at a time and really crossing the T's and dotting the I's in that round. That was nice.
Yeah, you'll take it. Keeping it all tied up now. Managing to pick enough rounds back up. And this T side's starting to get a bit out of hand. Momentum favouring them for sure. Unsettled Resentment going back into another gunbite. And they're bringing the double AWP to the table. Okay, interesting. Not something you see super often on Anubis, but looks like Akari thought he had the spawn to make that one happen. He's already up close and personal. Molly forces him off the line. Has to play shotgun AWPing now. And where's the other one? The other one's on Slayer over towards the fountain area. Flashed off. And that's all it takes. Oh, some opportunities. Go fleeting. And that Molly, as well as everything else, just chips him down to 20. So still able to have some impact. But in the meanwhile, Controls is working up a flank, but doesn't look at camera. One of the more open positions that you really need to check. So that's going to be a small mistake.
I mean, I don't know what the comms are like, obviously, for Chinggis Warriors there, but I almost imagine in his head, he's thinking that his team is putting a bit more pressure on main at that point, and they're going to be able to capitalize on his position in middle. But obviously, they had kind of walked away from main. Unsettled Resentment had it smoked off. Were turned away, so...
I know the problem, though. He thought.
He thought.
Sometimes you just don't have to think.
Yeah, you thought. Just don't thought.
Just don't thought, mate. Don't do it.
Do get a trade kill, though. Back to 4-on-4. Akari. Well, this will be an important shot to hit, and he's going to get it, but BKZ should trade him. Had the chance for a second there. Wouldn't quite expect it, but ariucle is forced now into the 1v1 after all of the trades are secured on the bomb site. Slayer is low. ariucle's got no idea exactly where he is. That smoke on the left fading. Oh my god. If Slayer would have just held that line, he gets a kill there for sure, but not the case. And Chinggis Warriors go up 10-9, and this starts to look very worrisome now for Unsettled Resentment. Money low. Loss bonus big. Round deficit low. Fear factor big. Because Chinggis Warriors are making this comeback happen on the T side.
Can you go over that one again? I just missed it, sorry.
Gains big.
We love big games in this house.
That's right.
Well, let's see what gains Chinggis can find in the 20th. Controls. Oh, spots a shoulder, but spotted
well
that
done.
flash as well. Lovely spray transfer to deal with both the individuals running right at him. And Slayer, down to 8 points of health. Mate is in a pickle. Two-man slow push through that A-main smoke. Ends up working for one after a crazy spray from Efire. But great coverage, great trade game. And Cursed is going to be able to pick up the final two. Straight into a tactical. I think it's definitely necessary at this point. You want to stem the bleeding before Chinggis Warriors just run away with a clean old 2-0.
Well, Slayer can afford an AWP. Hasn't really been super influential with the AWP in hand, though. Maybe that is part of the conversation here. Do we go for an AWP? Or are we going to go for some rifling presence? Looks like it will be the AWP once again. Chinggis Warriors have built themselves a bit of a buffer zone here, not only with the round count, but also with the cash. ariucle and BKZ above 10k. And everyone looking quite healthy on the financial front.
Efire with the molly for con control. Answer with an incense. Oh, what are we doing here? We're boosting over the A-main smoke. Unfortunately, that's not going to find anything for Unsettled Resentment. It is going to be mid that works out. And after clearing over the smoke, they decide to just contact through, which may end up catching off Efire or ariucle, whoever that is, over towards Rugs. But with the man
He's getting
advantage.
caught here. I think he's all over it, mate.
They seem to be ready for a fight at any given point. To the look of it.
Look how far they've pushed into CT spawn as well, by the way. BKZ has cleared out like the entire map. They know there's nowhere else really for these CTs to be apart from either A or having pushed out of A. And ariucle, yeah, he's all over it. Gets madness. Again, may not be expecting Slayer up in carpets or rugs, but even then, you know, he's in a difficult position to dislodge. It won't make a matter for the rest of the round anyway, even if he does go down. It's just about kind of giving every advantage over to Chinggis Warriors for what could ultimately be the final round of the map. If they can take this gun away, if they can get rid of this AWP, they will not have to deal with an AWP next round. There's just not going to be enough money. That 3.4k loss bonus for Unsettled Resentment to afford another one. Controls having a bit of difficulty jumping up. Fake flash. Didn't really fool Slayer. They know he's somewhere inside of this smoke. If they just charge at him together through the smoke, there's nothing he can really do. Good flash. He's going to try and escape around the corner, but will not be able to. It's a great hunt in the end from Chinggis Warriors. They had so much money, Mac. They could have thrown away every single gun there. As long as they get rid of that AWP, it was going to be worth it. And wouldn't you know, just at the end of the half, or the end of the map, we may have a tech pause. As it always seems to be the case. Like, I don't understand. Why does it always happen when a team gets to 12? Like, you couldn't your tech issue wait 2 minutes until the round is over?
So true, so true. It's the way the cards are played, though. You know, it wasn't a problem until it was the second last round, and now it's the last round. But it was a quick one. Maybe someone just had a stutter they wanted to wait for. Either way, unpaused. Back into the action. Let's see if Chinggis Warriors can close out the first series of the day here for ESL Pro League Season 22 Asia closed qual and make their way further in the upper bracket. They were coming in as the favourites, and they definitely look as such. Patient approach. Unsettled resentment. Going for the 3-2 split, leaving A completely open at the initial stages of the round. Oh, you can see who's that. Madness was spotted there towards camera, so he probably won't last too much longer. And with Slayer coming across, maybe that's the answer to keep him alive. But Slayer now worried that it is just going to be that push through the temple smoke. So everyone, suns out, guns out, and Madness should fall as soon as this smoke fades.
Is Rook's going to check it? Yes, he is. That's really nicely done from him. Chinggis Warriors looking pretty good on this T side and slowly but surely working their way towards a victory. Unsettled Resentment don't really have too many tools in their arsenal anymore. One smoke, one incend. Couple of flashes there for Twinkie. But it's just going to come down to aim duels, and that's not a great one to be giving up as controls, frankly. You've got your fellas set up in middle. They're going to try to make their way out onto A. All they have to do is dislodge Slayer, and he is dealt with by Rooks, and that might well be the round done and dusted. We'll see what Akari and Twinkie can do about it. They have to try and pull this one off. 2v4 to save the game for Unsettled Resentment.
Looking locked in. Unsettled Resentment going one by one into Efire, and that looks like no fun at all. 2-0. Chinggis Warriors going to be taking the cake and everything. Lovely one-sided game from them. Huge performance on Dust2, showing Unsettled Resentment. Mate, don't take us there. What are you thinking? And then, yeah, it was a bit closer here. So it was great to